Good morning, early afternoon, almost noon. Okay. I already tried to do a video and failed because I was just like my mind was not all here. Um, Today is looking a little, well, it's partly cloudy out there. I slept until about 10:30. I originally wanted to get up at 10, but for some reason I accidentally turned on my 10:30 instead of 10 o'clock alarm. But I was still woken up at 8:30 with a knocking of unknown origin or cause. No packages delivered. Nobody standing outside my doors, my house doors. Cause that would have been funny. Because I mean, getting to the door, dressed in Harry Potter pants and a dark T-shirt with my hair just kind of like all over the place. Which is normal for me when I first wake up. But I think the reason why I wasn't worried about the way I looked is because the fact that I was hoping to scare the bejesus out of whoever was knocking at my door at 8:30 in the freaking morning. Um, oh hush! I'll get you something to eat in a second. I didn't eat a snack bar or anything this morning, so my stomach was a little bleh. Yesterday we got our second set of COVID shots, so we are basically fully vaccinated. We have the cards and blah blah blah. Um, we were gonna rest yesterday because of the shots, but I didn't feel like I didn't feel like resting. I rested most of Tuesday, so Wednesday I was kind of like, let's get something done. Oh yes, we talked about finishing one of the many projects in my office space. But what we did was we emptied out this corner. Here, let me see if I can turn you toward that corner. Emptied out this corner to put the Filipino hutch in there, our Filipino dresser. So I have a pile over here that is basically yard sale stuff. So we've got more stuff to basically get rid of. The bottom two drawers out of this four big drawers and two little drawers. The two bottom ones have basically um, charger plates or service plates, however you want to put them. And then the other two big drawers on that dresser is going to be for like linens and stuff. And then once we get the linens, basically the linens are coming out of the buffet in my H cabinet to go in there. And then once we get done with that, a lot of the glassware that's in the H cabinet is going to go into the buffet. Or if we have short items, can go into some of those drawers as long as they're short enough where that they won't get crushed or broken in the drawer. So I'm excited about that. I woke up a little bit sore, so it's kind of like, give me some time to wake up and get, let the AM Advil kick in. So my body is not as sore. But today, if we do any work, it's going to be in the living room. We have a few things in the living room to finalize, decor, one or two new pieces of furniture that came out of here. We got to decide what to do with. Jerry Ann has the idea what she's going to do with it, except for one item. One item is a card table. And I put that card table up against the wall behind my mom's rocker. She's got plenty of room to get through the room and sit in her rocker and lean back and whatnot without hitting that table. We had one or two ideas of what to use it for. So right now it's kind of like, we'll just leave it there for now. But all in all, yesterday, other than the shot and my arm feeling a little sore, a little tight. They say we're supposed to work out the arm, and I'm like, I should have learned from the first time when I got it in my left arm, and I'm right hand dominant, so my right arm moves more. That I should have got it in that arm again. No, didn't learn my lesson, so I'm paying for it. I'm gonna move this a little bit closer to me. There we go. But other than the aches and pains and whatnot. I'm doing pretty good physically. Mentally is a different story. I don't know what's been going on lately. I don't know if it's tears of joy or what it is, but and I'm trying not to do it now. I kind of broke down last night. Don't know why. Well, I know the symptoms behind the tears and whatnot, but the thing is, what's causing it? Because everything's going really good, and it's kind of like, darn it. Everything is going really good, and we're progressing great. I mean, things are changing. So maybe the tears are pure joy. I don't know, but. But mentally, I'm kind of like, I've been waking up with these like, which way do I go? Which way do I go? Which way do I go? Oh, I'm really too sore to go anywhere. But it's like, my mind is not letting my body get full rest. It's literally like, and I'm like, okay, we're either gonna run into a brick wall, or something's gonna break down. Something's gonna go wrong. And I usually don't like trying to think like that, because the fact that I'm trying to focus on the joy of the factor. But it's literally one of those issues where, okay, I think part of what caused me to break down yesterday was we were trying to plan to go to Ohio in July. And something happened with money. There's like the house account, or mom's, not the house account. I don't think it's the house account. I think it's just mom's personal account. She's $80 in the hole, so we got to try to fix that. I think I kind of know why, because she has been ordering a lot of painting stuff, or paint by number type deals and whatnot, and it's kind of like, yeah, I know how that is, because there have been times where I go crazy getting stuff that I want to get, and not thinking about how close to the line I am with my budget. So the Ohio trip this year is probably kiboshed. Diane, her friend from Texas, is coming up here for a couple of days, and they're going back together to Texas for 3 weeks. Is it 3 weeks? Something like that. And I've already been told not to worry about the money, because Diane will not be paying for much. Diane might be paying for her personal food and whatnot. And the thing is, and this is one of the reasons why I want to try to get as much of the bedrooms done by, or main rooms, living room, bedrooms, our bedrooms, guest room, done by within the next 30 days, basically. And it's one of the reasons why my mind is going, gotta get it done, gotta get it done, gotta get it. But the way it sounds is, Jan doesn't want to go by herself. So I may be going with them, which I'm kind of on the fence about, because it would be nice for me to be here, so I can have a couple of weeks to relax and do my own thing. Now, Jan told me that going with him would be good for both of us. Just get out of the house. The other thing is, excuse me. Jerry told me that if I don't want to stay the whole 3 weeks, I can, they can put me on a bus and bring me and send me home, which I'm kind of like, I don't want. How are you gonna get home by yourself? We're not driving down there. She's driving. Lisa's driving us down there, and Jerry goes, well, at the end of 3 weeks, Emily's coming up with, or basically coming up here to drive her home, or what they're gonna do is they're thinking Lisa will drive us back up here and then head down to visit family in Georgia. And I went, okay. But I don't. I'm gonna have issues because of who I am, of having somebody pay um, for my trip, for my pay my expenses and whatnot for going to Texas. And I was told, don't worry about it. So I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just going to enjoy my time doing what I have to do, and then if and when we go to Texas, I'm gonna enjoy my trip down there, because one of the benefits for me going to Texas is Lisa's oldest son is a Dungeons and Dragons fanatic. Basically, he plays Dungeons and Dragons every chance he gets to with a group of his friends, and once in a while they go to a comic book place that has room for them to play games. And I'm like, okay, sure. But then, of course, I was like, ooh, I can actually play one of my favorite Dungeons and Dragons characters, who is a Viking berserker who is gifted with the power to call upon Odin to strike down his enemies. And I only use it on in dire need. So I'm kind of like, me going down there, the way I dress, the way I enjoy the Norse clothing and the Norse attitude, and finding out as much as I have since the last time I got to go down there, which has been at least 2 years, this is going to be interesting. Because one, they have not seen my look lately, except unless they watch my channel or see me on YouTube, either watch YouTube or see some of my pictures on Facebook or a couple of videos I've done for TikTok. It's going to be interesting, because it's literally all things I love wrapped into one mini vacation. For those of you who are watching and actually listening, need to listen to this part. We have sat down with our finances and all our various sources of income. And I don't mean the PPP or PPE or unemployment. None of that has been factored into our plans. We got our tax return, and with that tax return, I won't have to work. I might not have to go back to work until August. So July has been taken care of. So I'm not worried about it. As long as Jerry says we're not to worry about it and we're covered, I'm not going to worry about it. I am following one of the old Norse traditions of letting women take care of finances and numbers and things of that nature, because of the strong Norse belief that women are better than men at that kind of stuff, and it was considered good Seder or good magic. So I'm good. Now I'm going to say something else that might cause a lot of people to get agitated, and I don't care, because this is my channel and I'm going to say what I want. I have noticed within the last 2 or 3 videos that it seems like I'm starting to accumulate a couple trolls. Now, 1 or 2 of them look like people that I once kicked off my channel about a year ago. They have either regained their, they either created a new account with the same basic name, or they're totally new people with the same basic attitude. I've already dealt with one of those people, and I'm going to give you guys fair warning. If you're joining my channel to be a troll, to be negative, to be a naysayer, and I find out who you are, and I see naysaying comments or negative comments or inappropriate comments or comments that just doesn't even make sense. They don't rhyme. They don't connect with the video that you're making comments on. Um, there's a good chance that you might not be on my channel for very long because I will deal with you appropriately, whether I report you as spam or just, silence you. I don't like doing that anymore because the factor, yes, everybody has a right to their opinions and whatnot, but you don't have the rights to make negative comments on people's channels. I've dealt with you guys before. It irritates the crud out of me. I'm dealing with it on Jerry's channel because I'm now her moderator and proofreader. It's one of the things that we do together because she sometimes has a hard time reading comments due to personal reasons. So I proofread a lot of her comments from her channels, and if I see anything that I think she needs to deal with, whether it's positive or negative, I let her know. I usually hand her my phone so she can put down her reply or whatnot. Or she just tells me what to do, and I do it. It's one of the many things we do as working together as partners. And I don't mean just life partners, I mean partners in everything that we deal with nowadays. Funny thing, let's get back to a positive nature. Funny thing is, the last couple times we've been working together on purging and cleaning up rooms and rearranging rooms, she was like, I feel like I'm getting ready to getting ready to be having an RV life. And not like a permanent, like we're going to basically buy an RV, sell all our stuff, and live in an RV 24/7, 365. No, like get an RV during the summertime or during whatever months of the year that we feel like traveling, put what we need in the RV or trailer and go to that destination, whether it's, hey, it's that time of year, are we going to go to Ohio? We don't need to worry about a hotel room. We can just find a place that we can park the RV and set up camp and use trailer. We're actually starting to look at trailers because they're compact, they're inexpensive, and they're fairly easy to use. It's just an extra so many feet behind the van. That way we can set up the trailer and use the minivan to go romping around wherever we're at, whether it's Ohio, Texas, Arizona, Nevada, wherever. We've looked at a bunch of them, and there was one that was fairly decent size for the two of us, like less than 11,000. Yeah, less than 11,000. Actually, we saw one that's really nice, really small. And if we're just, we don't need a full galley kitchen or a full bathroom because we're visiting friends or family, or wherever we parked our RV has public restrooms. The one that I looked at was like $5,995, somewhere around there. And I'm like, dude, we can easily get that with a simple down payment. I might have to go get another job, but even a part-time job. But that's not here and there. That's kind of down the road a little. No, that's too selfish, Jim. I was just thinking to myself, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts because sometimes my thoughts are like intriguing to other people, but I was just thinking that would be like the ultimate birthday / Christmas type gift. But I don't expect anybody to hand over a payroll or something like that just for me. I don't expect anything from anybody. I've gotten to the point where I've gotten, like, whatever I get as a gift, whether it's a birthday gift, Christmas gift, or just a generalized gift, like that tapestry. And, oh, where's my mug? Oh, I think I packed it away just so we can rearrange the rooms. I got 3 different items from 2 different people as gifts. Maybe more. I don't remember everything. And I was appreciative because I didn't ask for it. I didn't say, "Hey, get me this, get me that." I just kind of told people what I was interested in and where my background is and what I'm doing and what I'd like to do with this room and yada yada yada. In fact, I actually got this tapestry before I moved into this room, but I didn't ask for it. It was just given to me. It was shipped to me. They knew my address because they knew Jerry Ann, and Jerry Ann has information. And basically, I'm leery about giving out personal information, especially like where I live, what my phone number is, how to contact me, that kind of thing. A couple of people have found out through one source or another. The reason why I don't is because I'm one of those type of people who are. I don't want to give out the information, not just because of the fact that people will send me gifts, which is fine, but I don't need people, private messaging me or sending emails or messages through one form or another that maybe they're not asked for. Maybe they're just comments that are wrong, negative, whatever you want to put it. Thankfully, I haven't had that problem. Thankfully. Because to be honest with you, I take that back. That's too strong of a word. I'm uncomfortable and dislike dealing with negative people because negative people can be avoided. Negative situations, unfortunately, are not always avoidable. It's how you react to them. But I've already seen 1 or 2 people popping up in the comment section that are negative and whatnot. And I'm like, one, you don't know if that information the other person was saying is true or false. And 2, just the fact that you're laughing at the fact that you don't know how much I make or what kind of finances we have or what our situation here is at our house. And like I said before, in a comment, is like, do you sincerely listen and watch my videos from start to finish instead of getting to a point where you're just tired of commercials or you just think you know what you're going to talk about and make comments that are just kind of like, where are you coming from? Because if you watched my videos, you'll know that we are in the process. Yes, it's a slow process because there are days I need to rest. There are days Jerry needs rest, and sometimes both of us need to have a full day of rest. But if you watch the videos, mine and Jerry Ann's, about what we're doing around the house and how we're slowly making progress on, moving furniture, going through the stuff that we have, clearing out the clutter, throwing a lot of stuff into yard sale piles in the back of the minivan or stuff in the back of the minivan that we can easily take to a consignment shop or Goodwill or anything like that. I had talked about a month or so ago that we had ideas about getting a storage shed to put outside of our house to put certain items from various rooms that we knew we were going to keep, and just not making it harder for us to move around the house while we're trying to pull up the rugs in our room or pull up the rugs in the craft room, or I love to pull up the rugs in this room. I don't think this room is going to get the rug pulled up this time around because there's a lot of heavy, awkward furniture. But I only spend a short period of time in here per day. So ripping up the carpet in here is just like, as long as I can maintain cleanliness, I'm not going to worry about the rug. Now that I've got a portable HEPA filter system Um, I'm not too worried about the rug. It's places like the bedroom, because we spend a good half of our day in the bedroom, or 12 to 10 hours. Yeah, 12 to 10 hours per day. And well, not per day, but 12 to 10 hours maximum in our room. And because of dust, debris, dander, pollens, allergens of one form or another, they get trapped in the carpeting. And that's why we want to remove the carpeting. Um, I'm I'm just at that. I'm just kind of like, I'm learning a lot from the American Cozy and the Hagee book, and I'm learning a lot about my ancestry from the various books I have. I mean, not that I'm trying to compare myself to the Norse god Odin, but Odin, or the One Eye, that was his thing. Wandering the earth to get knowledge, to become more knowledgeable about other things. Yeah, I agree. If you stop learning about things, and I mean literally looking at things with an open-minded an open-minded lifestyle, and take the blinders off your faces and see the truth around you, and not try to pick and choose what you think is true and what you think is not, you're not going to learn much. And guess what's going to happen? Your mind is going to deteriorate because the lack of knowledge, the lack of learning. Um, my my grandmother, from my mom's side of the family, for a very long period of time, until her sister, my Aunt Helen, passed away, she loved to do crossword puzzles and word finds. My father-in-law did the same thing. Up until the day that they died, their brain was, I mean, they were sharp as a tack. Witty, smart, always learning, trying to learn stuff. What caused both of them to basically pass away? Well, one of them, my grandmother, basically died from broken heart. Just like my Aunt Kay. Now, I wasn't close to my Aunt Kay, so I didn't know what she did in her spare time or not, but we always thought she would be the first one to drop, because she had triple heart bypass surgery and high blood pressure and diabetes and all different kinds of ailments and diseases, heart and blood diseases, that could take her at any moment, at any second. Granted, she was not on a ventilator or anything like that, but we thought between my father and her, she would be the first one to drop. Mm-mm. Because of my father not listening to the doctors and being stubborn as he was and all that fun stuff, he basically passed away because of blood clots getting into his lungs after they amputated one of his legs. And then she passed away 4 or 5 months later. And we figured the reason why she finally let go is because the fact that my father, was not there anymore. It's amazing how two people will live, and then when one passes away, the other one just slips away. It's just one of those weird coincidences or weird things of life. But I've learned that one of the biggest things I can do to keep myself alive and healthy as much as possible, besides learning, is basically trying to listen to my doctors, trying to keep as healthy as possible, having health regimens, trying to find a way to be as stress-free as possible, which is one of the things American Cozy talks about, how stress affects the mind and body and our health. So if I'm getting new people who want to be negative verbally or in text form, however you want to put it, no. One, you're not going to stress me out. I'm not going to let you stress me out. And two, if you're attempting to stress me out, all I can say is have fun making multiple accounts just to be a prat. Because I don't care how many times I have to report a person or report an account as spam or remove the comment for whatever, because I feel it's being negative. Now, some people might go, well, that doesn't seem very negative. Well, your opinion of negative and my opinion of negative is two different things. Because of my gained happiness and my gained control over my own stress and learning various different techniques or tips or whatnot to deal with the stresses of life, yeah, my horizons have broadened. I might read a comment and go, I don't think I know what you're talking about, so I'm going to make my comment and see if we can find common ground. And if we can't find common ground and you continue to be a stressor, then I might consider removing you from my channel. Doesn't mean I'm going to do it automatically or right away. It just means I'm going to give you the chance that everybody deserves to explain themselves. I know from dealing with Jerry Ann and other people that sometimes I have difficulty explaining myself or what's going through my mind to people. But the thing is, I'm trying to keep an open channel. I'm trying to gain common ground with other people. I know it's easy for people to make comments or whatever without knowing the other person because you're just watching a video and you don't know what's going on in the background or in the back of my mind or anything like that. It's fine and dandy. If you're having trouble with understanding where I'm coming from, you don't have to make a comment. You just have to ask, can you explain yourself? Ask questions. I love questions. In fact, I recently did a Q&A because, in fact, I had 9 to 10 different questions. Granted, 9 of them were from one particular person, but I'll answer questions as long as as long as I feel they're not getting too personal. What happens between me and my wife behind closed doors is nobody's business. What happens with my finances, for the most part, is nobody's business. I mean, I don't give exact numbers anymore. I don't tell you exactly how, what I'm making compared to what I'm spending. Just be happy that you know that I'm doing, financially I'm doing good. That I'm not like running to an old job or a new job begging for a job, even though they may not hire me because of my appearance, which I think is BS. Especially if I'm not in a kitchen where I'm dealing with people, handling people's food directly, there should be no reason to cut my beard or change my hairstyle or anything like that, because I can go to work and I can have my beard in a rubber band, trussed up, and basically contained in a Nordic fashion, and nobody should have any complaints. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, anybody who complains about another person's appearance or livelihood is basically a Karen or Becky, depending on your age. For those of you who don't know what a Karen is, and basically Becky is a younger version of Karen, is basically a person who bitches and moans and complains or ridicules or basically acts negatively towards another human being. Like, I watch TikTok, and there's this guy who's always talking about his neighbor, who's basically a Karen, who complains or calls the cops because she didn't like the vehicle that they were driving, because it when you rev it, it makes a loud noise. Actually called the cops because he was barbecuing with an open flame and there was smoke billowing out of his backyard. Complained about the fact that the dog was barking at a squirrel. Just complaining about piddly little stupid things. And it's kind of like, really? And then there was another TikToker who made a video about him and his wife were out and about out and about at like Walmart and whatever. And this woman wanted them kicked out of the store because he was He was heavily tattooed with Norse pagan tattoos, was wearing his Mjolnir, his his hammer, out in public, and she was heavily tattooed and no bra, and nipples poking through the front of the shirt, and a skirt like a Viking style, basically dressed almost Viking style with the skirt and whatnot, and had her hammer out and showed various tattoos of Viking type tattoos, and some of them were kind of like looked a little bloody and whatnot, gory. And she just didn't want them in the Walmart with her, and tried to get them kicked out. And well, she was the one who got kicked out, which I went, yes. Um, that kind of stuff. It's like, really, you're trying to get people in trouble because of their lifestyle or their looks or their fashion or stuff that you don't like. That's a Karen move. That's a Karen for you. Complaining about little stuff. Um, another example, and I thought this was hilarious. It was a story that was basically both on TikTok, YouTube, and then in some newspaper from, was it Tampa, Florida? Somewhere in Florida. This couple, I don't know if it was a couple now. Well, anyhow, this lady was complaining and wanted to get a couple people kicked out of the local supermarket or mall or whatever it was, because they were walking around with no masks on. And according to the newspaper, there is a flyer on one of the doors that enters into this location that says masks required unless proof of vaccination. No big deal. No big deal. Well, this lady saw this person or persons walking through the mall, no mask. She got mall security to try to confront them. And mall security was, one of the mall security persons didn't even have their mask on. And she was getting all hyper about the fact, oh, you're not wearing a mask, blah, 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 blah. And the security guard or person who was supposed to be escorting this couple out was like, do you have a mask or your vaccination card? And they're like, yeah, sure. But what about you? You're not wearing a mask. They were trying to make it fair. They weren't trying to rebuttal or push off. And the security guard goes, yeah, here it is. And he pulls it out of his back pocket. And they were like, oh, okay, no problem. And they pulled theirs out of their back pocket. And he was like, okay, well, you're not in violation of any form that we you're following the posted information. Well, this Karen who was getting all like, started, basically throwing a hissy fit. And the mall security was like, there's nothing I can do. They're following the rules and regulations posted on the front door. And she's getting, well, you're not even wearing a mask, blah, 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 blah. Like trying to like stir up shit. Well, because of the factor, by her screaming at the top of her lungs about the whole thing, it ended up getting two other mall security guards, and one of them stepped forward and went, look, if you can't abide by our rules and regulations, because they are, you can leave the store. Oh, I shouldn't have to leave the store, blah, 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 blah. And it was like, you have a choice. You can either just walk away from the situation and ignore it, cause no more disturbances, or we can call 911. We can call PD, state PD, or whatever, city, town, whatever. And she's like, yeah, call cops, blah, 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 blah. So they did. 3 officers come in and go, okay. One of the officers walked the Karen away and said, okay, what's the situation? What's going on? And between the person she was complaining about and the mall security people, saying these folks came in the store, they weren't wearing masks. She started complaining, and when we asked them about, any form of ID for the COVID shots or anything like that special card that says you got both your shots. That's all we require for coming in here, is that you either have the card or you have a mask, and they produce the card. And the PD goes, okay, so let me see the cards. So the security person and the people who this lady was complaining about produced their vaccine cards. They're like, okay, okay, okay. And then the two that was talking to the other group went to this Karen and went, they're following the rules and regulations. There's nothing we can do. They're within their rights, the whole 9 yards. So she started going off on the cops. Oh, you're just, basically trying to enforce her rules and regulations or her ideas. And the cops go, well, you have a choice. You can walk on, do your shopping, and enjoy the rest of your day, or we can take you downtown and have you arrested and booked for aggravated assault. The woman just kind of went, what? I'm not doing anything wrong. There's no aggravated assault, blah, blah, blah. Trying to push it, you basically push off on other people. Well, according to the end of the story, she got arrested for aggravated assault. Because not only was she assaulting these people who were within their rights, but she started to assault the police officers. Not physically, but verbally. And in that state's rules and regulations, you can be arrested for basically, verbal assault. And when I read that story, I was kind of like, the officers are warning her that if she just doesn't leave it alone and walk away, she can be arrested for aggravated assault. So instead of just shutting her mouth and walking away like any smart person, she wanted to continue to push her idealism of what should be and got herself arrested for aggravated assault. Now, I don't know how long you spend in jail for that or what the punishments or fines or anything like that, but I'm like, the officers gave you a choice to leave it alone and walk away, but instead you continued to ignore the officers and rant and rave about the legalities or the her opinion of staying with them, having to keep the mask on. Now, I can relate because before my COVID shots and before researching all this information, I was kind of the same way where it's like I would get aggravated at people for not wearing a mask in public places. And this was before the COVID vaccination came out. But the city and county of where I live decided that it was no longer a mandate, even though CDC was strongly suggesting keeping it on. But the thing is, I understand the point because if I had become a Karen and started, I don't even know if there's a male version of that terminology, but if I had become like this woman and the cops came along and said, look, you can either leave it alone, go home, or continue on your day, but just drop your argument. Because I have a high respect for authority, I probably would have been like, sure, fine, whatever, and walked away. There are those who like to continue to aggravate people like me just because. Just because the letter of the law basically allows them to do what they were doing, and I can't force them or make the decision for them. So, yeah, it's smarter just to walk away. But the thing is, if they would have continued to follow me and bug me and disturb me, I could have switched it out saying, hey, look, I dropped it. I feel you're aggravating and assaulting me just by your presence. Now, that's a cupcake maneuver. So, I've gotten to the point where it's like, why am I letting it stress me? Why do I let it stress me? One, I can't control other people. No. On this forum, I can decide what comments stay and what comments go. That is my power here. Two, what good is the stress doing me? What good is the stress doing anybody? None whatsoever. Just causing more internal issues with my health. Three, well, the third one is really simple. If it's my time, it's my time. If I'm supposed to contract COVID and die because of COVID, so be it. I know it's a really piss poor way of looking at it, but look at it from a Norseman's perspective, which is kind of what I'm doing. The Norsemen understood they cannot weave or determine their fate. They can live their lives and try their best to do their, what they feel is right by the gods. But unlike Christians, Norse gods don't demand anything. They don't demand your praises. They don't demand you sacrifice, make sacrifices and whatnot. The Norsemen did make sacrifices and give offerings to their gods, to their gods, not just to appease them, but to basically ask them to give them, and this is the difference between Norse pagans and Christians. Christians ask God to take care of a problem and try to leave it in God's hands. Norsemen don't ask their gods for anything. They basically ask their gods for one simple thing: the strength and wisdom to do themselves what is necessary. They don't demand their gods to fix their problems or anything like that. They ask the gods for wisdom and strength so that they can do it themselves. And I think that's where I connect with the Norsemen more than I do with the Christians, because the factor, one, I was born and raised to do it myself, and two, if you ask the gods or God to do something for you and they do not do it, whether it's the pagan or the Christian God, you get upset. You get pissy at them. For what reason? Because they didn't do it. Maybe it wasn't within their power to do it, or maybe it wasn't the time. It wasn't the right time to do it themselves. Mankind over the years have learned when to plant, when to harvest, and all that fun stuff because of living in harmony with the world around them. Norsemen. The reason why the Norsemen were the way the Norsemen were back during the Viking era was because they understood that if they sat back on their laurels and did nothing, nothing would happen. Nothing would change. Plants would not get planted. The harvest would never come about. Cutting down a tree to make a home would never have happened. Basically, they understood we have to get up off our butts and do for ourselves what we want done. Now, I know a lot of people will go, well, the Christians do the same thing. Not really. I have heard so many different stories of the Christians praying to God, and I don't fault them for this, to heal a family member or cry out in woe of why did this have to happen? Why? My experience. My cousin Michelle was about 1.5 to 2 years older than me. She had 2 beautiful kids. They've all grown up. In fact, the youngest one, who's got a lot of different health issues or medical, hate using the word, but she's got physical retardation. She's not so bad that she has a lot of issues. Most of her issues is actually because of her physical health due to her stomach and dietary needs and all that fun stuff. But she recently finally graduated high school. Now, her brother, who is about 1.5 years or so older than her, is in college. They're both good kids. They're both smart as can be. But the thing was, is when their mother passed away, and the kids were still at a young age, I got mad. I got mad at God. Why did it have to happen to her? Why did it have to happen to one of the family members who's a mother? Why not me? I was single, unmarried. No, I was married. Excuse me. I was married. I was single. I had no kids. Her brother. No, her brother did have kids. Sorry. Sydney was the oldest and was alive when Michelle passed away. But my other 2 cousins from my Aunt Sue, yeah, they were wedded like me, had a spouse, but did not have kids. Why did she have to suffer and the rest of us did not. I don't know. So that's what sucks about life sometimes. Like, why take somebody who's married and have kids? What was the purpose of that? I still don't know. I have my doubts. Who doesn't? But I am still the person I am, no matter what. And I don't. Even if my family makes complaints or says anything about my choices, well, first off, they're not their choices; they're my choices. Second off, they can either accept it or not. And if they choose not to accept it, well, call me the black sheep of the family. I don't care. I am who I am. I'll always be who I want to be. And that's what matters the most. Because I'm learning, why stress over what other people think? Even your own family. You know, a lot of people had negative thoughts about my cousin Luke because of his choices. But he was happy with his choices. He learned from the mistakes he made because of those choices. We all do. It's the whole prodigal son thing. You know, youngest son wanted his inheritance, and he went out and spent it and blew it on parties and whatnot. But he came home, and when he came home, his father wept, wrapped him in robes, brought him back into the house because he's blood, he's family. You know, that's the way it is. That's the way it should be. Anyhow, I have rambled on for way too long, and my wife is probably going, what the heck is he doing in there for so long? So I'm going to end this and go enjoy some time with my wife and apologize for being in here way too long, because I should have made breakfast and whatnot an hour ago or shortly after I woke up. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you have any positive, good-natured questions or comments about this video, go ahead and put them in the comment box. Or if you have questions, put it in the comment box. I will deal with them as soon as I can. If you're new to my channel and you want to be here with positive vibes and want to learn positive things, even though sometimes my videos don't sound all that positive, I am trying to be as positive as possible. Go ahead and click on that subscribe button, and once you do that, a little bell will pop up, and once you click on that bell, YouTube will let you know when I put in my next video. So until next time, enjoy, have a good day, bye.